relationship. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Silicone, a TPE, it really don't matter which one it be. My mind keep visualizing future times, beautiful Android girls surrounding me. Filling my cup, full of joy, keep my life full of glee. Plenty ups, never down, the way that life's supposed to be. But unfortunately, if she a terminator, then I'ma have to terminate it. Gotta get rid of negative vibes, gotta go through negative foes, gotta block out negative voices, gotta get rid of negative souls. Had some people get discorded, just ignored it. Destiny is more important, so I just had to abort it. Had some people get discorded, just ignored it. Destiny is more important, so I just had to abort it. Yeah. Find me with my dogs in my solitude. Watch my family grow from 4 into a multitude. Been living it below sea level, finna rise to another altitude. Been searching, seeking knowledge, but all the time I had the aptitude. I flipped my mindset to the switch to say I will not lose. Mama said them sticks and stones won't break my bones, I never bruise. Whenever it come to trouble, many girls pull a tongue, we always cruise. I heard other dog owners get it out for me, but it ain't no news. I got 4 in the dough in Memphis so they can get the blues. If you need a few clues, they'll blow off your under rules. Send your compliment to the new girls I got coming through. Send your compliments to the new girls I got coming through. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Silicone, a TPE, it really don't matter which one it be. My mind keep visualizing future times, beautiful Android girls surrounding me. Filling my cup, full of joy, keep my life full of glee. Plenty ups, never down, the way that life's supposed to be. But unfortunately, if she a terminator, then I'ma have to terminate it. Gotta get rid of negative vibes, gotta go through negative foes, gotta block out negative voices, gotta get rid of negative souls. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Out of space, out of world, out of galaxy with a different girl. Silicone, a TPE, it really don't matter which one it be. What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Jada King Hefner, the beautiful Himawari. Got my girl Callie in the background. Couple of more ladies laying down. Man, feels good to be back. And honestly, man, you can see the title of today's show is Rest and Recovery, because normally I've been doing this show, man, crack of dawn at my time. You know, I try to get the show out somewhere, you know, at the beginning of the day. You know, a lot of people think the beginning of the day is like 7, 8. No, the beginning of the day is 12 o'clock a.m. So I try to get it out somewhere around that time, you know, every day. And that's as of late. I used to get my shows out at 8, 9, 10, things of that nature. And it'll continue to change depending on my creativity and, you know, how things are flowing in my body and mind and soul and all of that. So just to let you know, this is an extremely late show from what I normally do. And I tell you something else. This is actually the second show this morning. I just got through talking like 20 minutes and nobody was here. And I was cool. I was like, hey, people are probably still sleeping and stuff. You know, I understand. And I looked, I said, yeah, I'm not on mute or anything, so everything's fine. And I ended up looking at the inner workings of the show, because when you're going live, if you're using any type of software, it's almost like you have to have both softwares, you know, YouTube and that software communicating with each other. And if one of them says something different, both of them are messed up. I know that's a lot of information there, but I ended up saying that it was set to private, meaning that I had been talking like 15, 20 minutes, you know, with nobody around. So I was like, man, it actually had me laughing, even though I said a lot of good stuff, but like I said, nobody was here. So I had to delete that show, get rid of that, because nobody was ever going to see that. And I said, I got to reset it. And I set it for 9 o'clock. So, man, glad to be here. God bless everybody that's watching. Whatever you're hoping for, wishing for, your health, finances, relationships. me and the girls, we're praying that you already have it. It's already on the way, baby. It's already on the way. So the whole title of today's show is Rest and Recovery. And the title of today's show is because of what I explained earlier. Man, um, the show started late because I finally did my Biking for Companion Dog fundraising tour around Memphis. And if you ever want to donate, you can continue to donate. People, whoever watching, new viewers, old viewers, whoever, you can always donate because I'm trying to get to that goal. And the goal is 10,000. And that's just a goal to keep the show going on a daily basis. You know, a lot of people do YouTube as a hobby. Some people do it, you know, they have like real full-time jobs, and they may just do it and they like it, but they just look for it for a couple of extra dollars or something like that. But I'm trying to do this full-time for my life. So until the following gets bigger and stuff, I'm going to need just help here and there. Like I say, not putting pressure on people who've already helped. I appreciate you guys, and any help that you choose to do going forward, I appreciate. But just anybody that chooses to support this dream, it would be much appreciated. And speaking of that, I want to give a big ups to a Dog King Army team member. Kevin Gray came in with a great contribution to the Biking for Companion Dogs campaign, which we're about 340 right now. Because even when you make a donation that may not be directly to the link, which the link is always in the description of my videos where you can donate to the GoFundMe campaign. But even if you make a donation somewhere else and say, hey, I want this to go towards the campaign, well, I'm going to add that to the total or whatever. So we're a long way away from the goal, but I'm appreciative of every cent, dollar, nickel that I've received from all of you. I appreciate you because it's still helping the show, still pushing us forward. So, man, I finally did it because you guys won't see me talk about a lot of things in just detail as far as the bike ride. You're going to see the bike ride and what happened on the bike ride. But just coming from the aftermath of it, I tell you this, man. I've always loved riding my bike. I don't know what it is about it, man. I remember, like you said, I used to think about, man, I would love to do the Tour de France. Of course, you never know what it all entails, but I used to think, man, I would love to do the Tour de France and things of that nature. But it goes to a live show that I did a long time ago, and I'm gonna check in with my viewers in 2 seconds. It goes to a live show that I talked about a long time ago about how in so many schools, it's so many forms of athletics that's not even offered. So you can't even find people who would be excellent at a lot of sports. You can't even find it because it's not offered everywhere. And my school didn't have a cycling team, and a lot of schools don't get me wrong. But I'm saying that's how you can find people with passion for stuff when you put it everywhere. But I used to remember, like, man, none of my friends were talking about wanting to be a cyclist, but I used to be like, man, that would be cool. So even though I used to ride my bike, and the big problem with it is you don't understand what you even need to do. That's the thing. As a kid, sometimes you do need some sort of direction when you're trying to get into things, and, or you'll feel lost. I say that you'll feel lost so long to where you just move on to something else. That's, and I'm not blaming anybody for anybody's troubles. I just say if we had every sport in every school, you could just find a lot more talent. But to make a long story short, so I've always liked riding the bike, but I've been forced to ride it long distances when my car has broken down and things of that nature. Because I originally got it back when I was in school, and I just like the idea of being able to just go across campus and stuff on my bike, making it easier. But after that, man, millions of people wanted to try to buy my bike. I'm like, no, I love my bike. No, it's gonna come in handy. And I've always been a bike enthusiast, but like I said, I wasn't riding it every day. And it's crazy. It'll be some summers where it'll be a year or two maybe where I didn't even touch my bike. Honestly, that's the craziest part about it. But man, whenever I was in trouble or something like that, it would always be there for me. Or sometimes I just get on it. But whenever I really lost cars, I would ride it for lengths of time. And I remember how much I loved it. Like, man, I forgot how much I loved it. But one of my dreams was, it's an unrealized dream, honestly. And I was like, man, I want to get a super duper bike. You know what I'm saying? A real professional type of bike that can go super duper long way. I want a bike like that. I'm talking about, I want a bike that's like a car, basically. Hey, you riding to work and ain't nobody even thinking twice too much, because it's just such a amazing bike. And it's a lot of types out there. I'm not talking about an e-bike though. I'm not gonna get into that right now. But I'm just talking about like a good normal bike. So I've always had these grandioso bike dreams. But it's like a lot of other dreams and things. I know my brother, he's gotten into the van life type stuff, and I haven't really questioned him too hard on this subject. But you know, it's a difference between looking at something and then getting into it. I just say that. Even with the dog life, it's a difference between looking at it, oh, oh, that look great, and then living it. You don't know if you're gonna love it till you live it. And man, like I say, that's the thing I love about the dog life. Thank God that I loved it. But with this biking and you see all this long distance riding, man, you don't know if you love it until you do it or something. So I've ridden my bike long distances, and I surprised myself. I'm like, man, I ain't even really tired and stuff like that. I've always had a lot of great endurance for I might not be the greatest. Hey, I've never been. Hey, I might not be the fastest, but I've always had a lot of great endurance for whatever reason. And so I get to wherever I'm going, like, hey, man, I ain't even that bad. I always find myself like, I would always find myself, I ain't gonna lie, no matter where I go on my bike, thinking of like, man, because I recently took a trip to Mississippi before this. eh, I don't know. I don't know, probably a 30-mile round trip or something. But either way, when I finally get home, I always find myself thinking like, man, I think I can get challenged more than that. That wasn't, it really didn't, it didn't take me to, it wasn't a big challenge to me. But I would always still feel the after effects in my body. And I would think to myself, man, I wonder what a a more grueling trip is going to do, because you still do feel little aches and stuff from smaller trips. I mean, I've taken trips to the store sometimes and came home tired. I'm gonna be honest. It's crazy how that works. Your body will be a little tired once you get home. And I'm coming to my thing, but it's crazy. I just don't want to lose this train of thought, because I'm gonna leave and come back to this whole bike ride thing, but I have to get this little part out. So yesterday, as I was taking this trip, because man, I've always ridden solo pretty much. It's not like I've ridden with gangs. I mean, the only time I rid with a lot of people was when I was a little kid. But other than that, it's been pretty much solo most of my career. I had a time where I rode with a couple people, but for the most part, it's been solo. And what I was saying when nobody was listening was, what's crazy is, man, I didn't really need much on this trip. This trip, I really made a very minimalist trip. But what's crazy is, I have never had anything to fix a flat. And that's probably one of the things that I do always want to have with me. But man, I can't even tell you the last time I've had a a, a, a spare inner tube. I can't even tell you. probably when I was a kid. And I was thinking to myself, like, I don't understand why my tires used to pop left and right when I was a kid. But truthfully, I can't even remember my tire popping because it hasn't on my tire, on the tires on this bike since I've had it. Never. And they've never popped. And I said, man, is this due to me just riding better, watching where I'm going? Because I do that, but sometimes I ride over stuff that I don't like to ride over. But I tell you what, it's two things I say. I'm getting ready to come to the chat in a second. That's one of the reasons I never changed my tires from mountain bike tires. You know what I'm saying? Because even on the gravel road, because I'm like, you know what? I'm cool with having the extra meat, even though it slows you down. Take some mileage off of you. Even though I still go fast, it still takes some mileage off of you. But another thing, recently somebody tried to get me to buy some new tires, man. And I was like, man, my tires look great. They almost look brand new, honestly. Maybe not now because I've been riding the hell out of them. But I was like, I don't know. But she was like, nah, they old. It's old rubber. I said, but I don't know. I said, I'm going to get some other stuff tuned up on it, but hold off on that. Because it was honestly, I couldn't afford it. At the time, I couldn't afford no new tires. But if I had needed them, I would have had to try to find a way to get them. But after I left from her, after evaluating my bike, because I wasn't trying to undermine her, but I just asked another guy's opinion. I said, hey, man, look, don't lie to me. But I think these tires are good. Could you just tell me, give me your honest opinion? He said, hey, man, these tires great. You don't need to change these. You got a lot of life in these. I said, hey, if I need some tires, tell me. He said, nah, bro, these tires are great. So I didn't, he told me exactly what I thought, that I didn't need the tires. So they're good as far as preventing flats and stuff. But man, like I told you, even after I've ridden my bike for long distance, I've always felt like, man, I still, want to be safe and have some stuff with me. But to make a long story short, I made this trip, sort of like my whole journey with the dog life and the YouTube and just doing whatever I'm doing is basically that was another step of faith, because although I won't even plan on nothing negative like that happening, just as a cyclist, a biker, you want to just have some safety precautions with you. And I'm not even saying it costs $1 million to get a damn inner tube. It's just it's crazy. It's just one of those things where I just have never gotten one. But man, I made that whole trip. Of course, you see me back here, safe and sound, and I'm gonna get into a little bit more on it, but I just say this: another reason I didn't have a show is the long story I'm getting to is it wasn't just that I was huffy puffy tired. That's the craziest part. Out of that long trip, which he ended up being a lot longer than I thought. I thought it was going to be 70 miles. He ended up being basically 99 miles. Man, it's crazy, man. Once again, the last sort of leg of the trip, I started feeling a little fatigued, but it was my body more than my lungs. You know what I'm saying? It was my body. And so I get into that later, but I just say that's what kept me from doing the show. My body, man. It was like, nah, you can't do the show. You gotta, you gotta recover more. Because I tried to do the show at 4, I had to reset it. I was gonna try to do it at 6, had to reset it. 7, had to reset it. Tried to do it at 8:30, and I guess because I was tired, I didn't notice that it was on private. So I said that whole soliloquy to say, man, hey, this a rest and recovery show. I'm a little discombobulated from the ride. And hey, I don't, like I say, honestly, I ain't got a million things to talk about because, like I say, this is my Saturday show. I don't even just I answer any of your questions about the dog topic, but it's just a different type of a show. And today's is more or less about the bike ride, the recovery, a little bit about the trip without giving away too much. So Kevin Gray says, and it's amazing. He number one here, ready for the rundown on the bike ride. Cause like I say, God bless you, brother. He came in with and I know he ain't even looking for that type of recognition. But when you give, I gotta say something. But he came in with a great donation yesterday, just to the cause. And like I said, I appreciate everybody who has already given. People out there who I don't know who are going to give, whoever you may be. I appreciate you. But yeah, man, I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna break it down a little bit more. I'm gonna break it down definitely a little bit more. Uh Simple Jack, thumbs up. Roxy Nebula says, big ups, Jay. What up, Roxy? New girls looking super pretty. Thank you, man. Like I say, I got my girl Callie over there. A lot of people been asking about her tail. Like I say, right now, see, when she's off this camera, she's not in this higher light. Like I explained in my last video. I did a video called Natural Skin because they call this natural fair skin, which is basically if you want to go by colors, which I hate, but if you want to go by this Caucasian, uh, like a porcelain skin color, just basically the fairest of skin colors you can get. That's basically what they call that, the natural skin color. Then you go to the tan skin color, and some people even offer like 2 shades of tan. But with Cat, it's she just had 1 shade of tan. And even with my WM side Ema, it goes from light tan to regular tan, and she's a regular tan, and her and Callie match colors. So a lot of people was like, hey, is she more tan? I'm like, nah, the thing is she's just in the lower light. But another thing, like I was explaining in that video, man, you don't really understand how the color scheme works until you get next to somebody who's a lot lighter than you. Because when I had my girls Callie and them at first, even in higher light, they're still not as white as Himawari. Man, a lot of people was like, man, look at them white girls you got. But they were the same tan that they are now. But it just goes to show, man, it's just a whole nother level to it. And she's just a lot lighter than them. And it's gonna be so funny when I get a black companion dog because she's gonna be that much darker. But I actually love Callie in that low light because of course she doesn't look like that when the light's on her. She's a lot brighter than that. But she looks a little Latina with that low light back there. I actually like it. Thank you though, Roxy. Ren says, what happening, Ren X? Withering Liberal says, hi, J-Dog. I really missed your live stream. What up, Withering? Man, I've been going at it, man. I think I've been coming at a time when you haven't been able to catch me. Ren X says, I see you got that Iron Tech silicone. Yes, sir, baby. Sheila Bell, good morning, king and ladies. Hey, Sheila Bell, another Dog King Army team member. And right now, like I say, not to even bring up, I'm not going to even bring it up. I just say right now, my team members, everything is sort of at a standstill, but it's coming back with all your signature perks. Everything's coming back really soon. Power Brain in the house. What a Power Brain. Tree Goblin. Hell, he said, hello, Dog King Hefner. Simple Jack says, electric bike? No. Simple Jack, does it matter the bike brand? I think it does. Look, I can't lie. I love bikes, but I don't know all the brands off bat. I just know when I go into the bike store, which ones I like to, which ones I look at. Sometimes I have to go online to see the bikes that I really like to, that I'm really looking forward to buying. And man, like I said, I don't want to talk too much about electric bikes. You're gonna see something about it in the video, but I just say, I don't got nothing against people who have electric bikes, but for me, I'm more of a natural guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel once I get to the electric bike thing, I'm gonna go ahead and get another thing that I used to want when I was young, and that's a moped. But I've always said that I'm never getting a moped or a motorcycle, only because God put in my heart when I was young to say, he told me, don't ever get a moped or a motorcycle, pretty much. Really not a moped. I didn't really hear that. I just heard a motorcycle. And I just said, you know what? Just to play it safe, I'm not gonna get a moped either. Uh, but I didn't hear that about bikes. Mr. Giggles, what up, Mr. Giggles? He been pretty active lately. What up, man? I know it's a cycle because I got a lot of viewers and things of that nature. Some people fall into cycles, man, where I catch them a lot. Sometimes they get a really active where I hear from them a whole bunch and then they get quiet. I don't hear from them and then they come back. But Giggles been a guy been active lately. Good to hear from you, Giggles. He says go tubeless tires. They are tough. I don't even know nothing about the tubeless tires on bikes, but I know I'm not a fan of the tubeless tires with cars. I mean, well, not tubeless, but I'm not a fan of the what they call it, the either way, the tires that even when they go flat, they have the hard ink, the core, so you can keep riding. I don't even I'm not a big fan of those either. I'm just a natural regular guy, honestly, when it comes to that. Ooh. He said lucky. He said lucky. I had to change my tires like 3 times while in my third world S-hole of a country, man. I say this, let's not call it an S-hole of a I know you may have challenges there that, I ain't gonna even try to minimize that. I don't know where you are, but I say wherever you are, you blessed to be there. You might have some problems, but it's some equivalent problems of a different nature. You know what I'm saying? Somebody dealing with something else somewhere. But God bless you that you got a way to get around. I say that. Fritz Crawford says, Brittany says she likes your stuff, Jada. I don't know what you're talking about, Fritz, but hey, that's funny. I was I actually messed with, you gonna hear me mess with Brittany on some of the videos. I messed with her yesterday on the live stream. Oh, he's saying people stole his tires. That's what Jack Green says. Every time he looked to the side. I promise you though, man, I don't know how you had your bike secured, but man, it's hard to really secure a bike properly anyway. It's best to honestly, like you say, only have to secure your bike for a short period of time. That's the best thing I can say, man. That's the only thing I sort of hate about commuting is even me, I haven't had to really do it yet. Where in school I had to do it because I'd had to go in class for an hour or whatever, an hour and a half or so, and your bike could just be outside. And I used to always hate that feeling. But especially if you're just out in public somewhere, I still because I don't have a. I just recently tried to. Well, I haven't ordered it yet, but I'm recently looking at a chain to try to order, and it's not even a big heavy duty chain, but it's something. I just need to get a deterrent right now in case I have to sit my bike for 15 to 20 minutes. But I think the best way to go is some type of heavy duty lock because those thieves are out there, man. And I just say, God bless you. I hate that happened to you. Um, Simple Jack said, I saw Brittany get into a debate on Destiny show. She's a funny stoner. I think I saw something like that, but I didn't see it. Man, I've been so busy with my stuff lately. I haven't really saw a lot of Brittany. I've seen her in passing, but I haven't really so even when it and it's good though, it's all right. Because I love my girl Brittany, but I got a couple of venture reports coming up, but luckily she's not the subject of them. I ain't even like I got a couple of major venture reports coming that I truthfully just I love them. Uh Man, because I found this new girl, man. And this new girl, she's not an ugly girl or nothing, but I'm not even doing it because of her attraction. I'm not doing it because anybody's attractive, but some of them just happen to be attractive. But she's not even just a mind-blowing attractive girl, but I just love her because she's super into mine. I Hey, you gonna love this venture report because I can't wait to do this venture report, but I got several of them coming up. But I haven't been able to see Venti a lot lately. Oh, he said 99 miles on a bike and no flats. You lucky. No, Simple Jack. I'm blessed. I'm blessed by the best, baby. Thank you, God, for covering me. Because not going to even lie to you. And it happens even when I'm taking shorter trips. It's like a couple of times, man, where you just hear something go pop, and you be like, man, what did I run over? Because I be looking at the ground, thinking you're watching what you're running over, but every now and then, man, you might run over something and it make a nice little crunch, and you be like, oh man, I hope I ain't got no pop. Because I was even thinking then, like, man, I want to finish this trip. I don't really know what I would do other than try to call somebody for a ride. Because I want, and I'm not even blaming anybody for this. Like I say, at some point, oh, I know what it was. I know what it was. I was like, why didn't I end up getting why didn't I end up getting I try to get a spare inner tube for this. And I just remember, man, it all came back to me not having a chain. I didn't want to go online and get one because I wanted to make sure I just got the right one for my tire and stuff. So I didn't go online for it. But and also I probably could have went online and tried to find a chain and stuff, But once again, still trying to stay in budget and get the right thing. I never had the chain to go lock my bike up to go to a store around here to get, like a real store to try to find a tire. Because I was like, man, I don't think I really need to go to the bike place to get one of these. And the truth is, man, it's hard to find a place that has a place where you can lock your bike up now. But because I didn't have a deterrent, I was like, man, I really can't even go look for a tire right now. And it just came, how the days pile up and you forget it and you put it to the back of your mind. I never really got around to getting it. And next thing you know, it was time to take the trip. And I was like, well, I even prayed over it. I was like, God, I've been riding so many years without any damn way to change the tire, which at this point, especially with my tires, I believe it'll be a day. I don't even know what it would take to really change. I'm assuming it'll be just like it used to be, but it's always a hassle to me changing your tire. But it's still best to have that inner tube. But I can't lie, man. I just prayed over the trip. I took the bare minimum. I normally ride to the backpack with my backpack to the store. But I had sort of been doing, man, that's the thing. I sort of really been getting back into my bike stuff. And I have been doing a lot of research on biking lately because I'm like, you know what, man? You know, I do believe God is going to bless me somehow. I'm not going to say, when or where, you know what I'm saying? I always say it's going to be at the right time, but he going to bless me with another vehicle, right? But until then, I do need to make the best of my transportation, which is my bike. So I've been looking ways to sort of improve it. And like I say, man, even with the contributions from Biking for Companion Dogs, like it's going to go to improving the show, keeping me going, keeping me living. You know what I'm saying? And also even helping with stuff like that, man. Hey, if I need a spare bike part, will I have the means to be able to get it? Uh, so man, I have been doing research on how to just sort of improve my bike travels and things of that nature. And I found this whole little thing about riding with a bike bags because it's this thing called panniers or it can be said panniers, panniers, panniers. I've heard it said 2 or 3 different ways. When I first saw the word, I said panniers, PANNIERS. But basically, it's like an attachment you can put on your bike where you could put some bags on the back of your bike. Uh, I looked into that at first. I was like, man, that looked like something I can use because I do go to the stores a lot and compile a lot of stuff, and that'll keep a lot of stuff off my back. But man, I can't lie. Some of the adventurer in me, I do have to jump. I ain't gonna say I have to, but I do jump some curves sometimes, and I go off the beaten path a couple of times. I always thinking like, man, I've read about how the panniers can be a little panniers, or however you want to say it, can be a little cumbersome sometimes. And I always think like, man, I'm not sure if I want to go there yet. But I was doing a little research on bike bags, and people put bags on their bikes, on the front or the back. And I was like, I could probably try that for right now, unless I get into the point where I really need some heavy duty. Because honestly, the way my bike is built up, I can do the bike rack and the bike back, but I think I actually need another bike, the bike that I'm dreaming of, to sort of really make better use out of the panniers, however you want to call it. But I could do it if I wanted to. But I was like, I think the bags would be better for me now. So make a long story short, I made a makeshift bag to carry my stuff. Uh, and it doesn't really have all the space that these bike bags have, but it was just enough to carry my camera. Literally, I had my camera and little uh keys and little necessities like that. It was just big enough for that. I had a little portable power bank for my phone and stuff like that, and for my camera in case I needed it. And all that stuff came in right in handy. I'm gonna be honest, man. Other than the inner tube, spare inner tube, other than the inner tube, I literally had everything I pretty much needed, which was nothing. It was my phone and the camera and my bike. I literally had nothing else in there. I had a little water, which I'm against drinking water, man. I don't. I mean, I'm not against it. I just not no water drinker when I'm on my bike, even when it's hot. But I said, you know what? I don't know how long I'm gonna be out here, so I better just bring some just in case. So I did have a little bottle filled halfway with water. So let me get through with the comments, because I'm gonna tell you more about the trip, but I want to sort of catch up a little bit more. uh Jack Green says, oh crap, I forgot to say. What'd he say? Hell Dog King. Yeah, Jack Green. Oh man, you in that, you good, Jack Green. Brandon says, hey buddy, what up, Brandon? Hey, I about to say I got something to drink here. He said, hey buddy. And the dopest says, nice to catch a live stream. What up, the dopest? Giga said, doing great, Jay. It's a blessing to catch you live, man. It's a blessing to see you, man. Galaxy, my dog from another galaxy. Oh yeah, I'm glad to hear somebody that's been listening to some of my other music. Roman Reigns in the house. Good to see you, bro. He said, I like your music. Thank you, bro. Man, I got another song that I really been, man. I don't know why I haven't fully made it, because it's pretty much able to be made. It's like, I guess God just ain't ready for me to put it quite out yet, but it's a good one. Three Face says, head to the king, baby. Yeah. What up, Three Face? So, man, I'm gonna tell y'all guys a little bit more about the ride right quick. So I had those little supplies that I said I had. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I haven't seen any of the footage. I got home, woke, you know what I'm saying? I got the show prepared, and literally I haven't looked at any footage yet. So I don't know how good, bad, or in between any of it. It's most like it's like anything else I do. I don't really know what the hell anything looks like until I look at the footage. I'm just already thanking God that it's going to be watchable. I say that it's going to be more than watchable. It's going to be amazing. But sometimes with the camera, you don't know where you have it pointed quite. So I'm just praying that everything looks amazing, because it was a hell of an adventure, man. I tell you this though, man. I started out on the journey, and in my mind, it's crazy. It was like one, two. It was like 5 or 6 points on the map that I had made, and it was supposed to take about, on the map it said like 68 miles. And so I was thinking about, man, it's gonna probably be about 75 miles, depending on if I go outside the boundaries of here or there. And I didn't really go outside of anything that I said I was gonna go out of. Other than I really didn't. I got about 20 some miles into the journey. That's when I first started even feeling it a little bit, but that quickly passed. But when I got about 20 miles into the journey, that's when I started realizing, I'm like, hey, dang, I had been telling my mom, I said, man, I'm in shape, man. But that's when I started realizing, hey, I'm in shape. I'm in some damn good shape. And because I had been eating a little bit more than normal lately, but I kept on telling myself, like, man, don't worry about it, because you probably, you finna go on this bike trip, so who gives a damn? Because I was about 165, which I normally am about 162. Sometimes 158, something like that. But I was about 165. So I started out the journey, and about 20 miles in, uh, I'm starting to sort of feel it a little bit. Just meaning feel it is that's when I first started taking a bit of a breath, like, oh, okay, I'm starting to work now. I said, okay. But it wasn't nothing. And so I'm rolling. But I tell you this, man. One thing I say before I get too deep in this story, I've always, like you say, been into the cycling thing. But it is one thing that has kept me off of a motorcycle. And that was, I'm not going to speak this over my life, but I used to always say that I was clumsy. Man, I would drop a drink a day, drop something a day, trip over something a day. I ripped my own shirt off walking out of the house, catching it on the door. And that's true. I have done that many a day. Just funny crap, man. So it was like it's crazy. When I was little, I had heard of several people getting killed on motorcycles, but it was something that didn't really scare me. What happened was me. I was so klutzy to where something was like, hey, bro, don't even touch a motorcycle, because you'll die you'll get an expensive motorcycle and flip over on a pebble. So something said, and I said, you know what? It's just God speaking to me, because I just felt it too clear. It was something that said, hey, I know motorcycles are cool, but it's not for you, bro. Don't even try. Leave it alone. So I always left them alone. I listened to that in my spirit. But like I told you, I never heard that about bikes. But man, every now and then I've heard of somebody getting hit on a bike or something like that. Even one of my friends got hit on a bike before. So I know that it's a danger with cycling. And I've been on, like I said, even riding my bike to the store, Memphis, people are crazy drivers anyway. But man, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you what just frustrates me. You become non-human once you're driving on the street to some people. They don't see you as anything more than a piece of litter in the road. And I'm not trying to get too frank with trying to be in people's minds, but I'm telling you, like, that's almost how they treat you. Meaning that I've even noticed before my trip, bikers, even when it's not a bike lane, are uh entitled to a certain piece of the road. But people act like, man, if you're biking on a road that doesn't have and even when you got a bike lane, they don't like you. But when you're biking on a piece of road without a bike lane, they almost try to hit you in some cases to say you ain't supposed to be out here. Hey, whoa, yeah, I have a right to be out here, bro. But man, I run across it, not all the time, but I have run across it several times, like where people are honk at you, not because you're in the street, just because you're riding your bike. And in Memphis, it's real bad. I've had people cussing me and stuff, but like thank Jesus, I'm in control of my emotions. I don't try to strike back at people. That's stuff you don't want to be doing. I just keep going. I don't let hey, it's unproductive to do that. But I always think to myself, like, man, y'all don't, you're not even valuing life. You're just thinking that somebody is trash out here when you're getting close to people like that. But I say this, guys, as much as I love biking, it is super dangerous. So there are, once again, there are other measures that going forward that I am going to try to take uh into account. You know, measures I've always known about, but if I'm going to be riding my bike even more, I'm just going to have to get a little bit more wary of a few safety precautions. You know, once again, I always tell you guys, we never speak negative on the Dog King in the Dog King. We never say, "Oh, something gonna happen." No, nothing gonna happen to us. We protected by the best, baby. But I also just want to be a little bit more safer if I'm going to be a full-time rider, because I've never ridden my bike this much. I say that. So the U-turn I want to take before I get back to the actual trip is this. Um, Before I get too deep into the trip, because I'm going to break it down a lot about it, because it's going to be things I ain't going to talk about on the video anyway. And then I'm gonna get out of here so I can rest, because you know, this ain't gonna be the super long stream like it always is. I'm just gonna get in and let you guys enjoy your weekend as well. We definitely want you to do that. But man, I tell you this, man, we all got these hidden dreams in our heart, and sometimes we got dreams we don't even know we have. And with the dogs, man, and the life that I'm in, it's one of those dreams that just took me by storm. Like, I knew I was wanting to be into this life, but just all that everything that it means to me now is unforeseen. It's unforeseen territory. Man, I can't even tell you the amount of joy just everything about this life brings me. You know, not only living with them, but just everything I'm doing now and all that. The work, I don't care how much work it is. It's just everything is bringing me joy. But man, I like I told you, thank you God, we are multifaceted people, and I've always embraced that about myself. But man, it's a lot of other things that I really like in this life, man. I like sci-fi stuff. I like gaming. Uh, man, you know, I I like getting into conspiracy theories and things of that nature. Well, a lot of them have turned out not to be so much conspiracy, which I already knew that a lot of them had a lot of base and truth. But we're not going to even go that route. But it's a lot of things I'm into. But man, one of the things that like I said, that I've always loved was biking. And I tell you, man, God does so many things. Well, he does everything for a reason. Everything serves his plan. But man, I tell you, man, that's why I didn't really get mad when the car went down. I was like, well, God, he doing something. Because I already had biking for companion dogs, which the video probably won't be called that. I just let you know that now. It probably won't be called that. But I've always had that fundraising. I had that in my mind for for a while before I even lost my car. You know, I had already had that in mind and planned. But when I lost my car, I just started thinking like, well, you know what? I am going to get in better shape leading up into that. And I'm going to be honest, man. I will say this: as much as I do love my bike, I don't. I wouldn't have been able to jump out of my car and make that trip that I just made. If I had just been riding my car and casually riding my bike, I don't think that I would have been in shape, because I haven't been out here just trying to get in shape like Rocky. I've just been doing the things I needed to do. Like if I need to go to the store, go wherever, I get on my bike and go there. But just that, I knew I was in shape, because it was like the first couple of days I might have been breathing a little hard, and next thing you know, I was not breathing on longer and longer trips. So I knew I was in better shape. But I was like, man, you never, God just works in mysterious ways. So he actually got me in shape. But another thing he did is he woke up that old dream in me, man, of wanting to ride my bike for longer distances. I've spoken before, like, man, I said, man, I've had this crazy dream of actually making a trip, and I'm gonna be honest with you. From my standpoint, I pray that I don't have to make a trip like this to fund the show. You know, I, and the trip I'm talking about is a trip to Nashville. I'm hoping I don't have to do that to keep go. You know what I'm saying? I hope that I don't have to do that as a last ditch effort trying to keep the show going. Hopefully, not hopefully, but because I always say God works things out the best way for him. But uh, of course, in my human world, the best case scenario is for that not to have to be a reason for me to make that trip. But I did get some in my spirit of saying, hey, if you would have to make that trip to keep the show going, would you make that trip? And I'm like, oh yes, I would make whatever trip, honestly, to try to keep this show going on a daily basis, with just doing my show. And man, I was thinking like, what is it gonna take for me to have the strength physically to get there and all that? Not just the biking tools and stuff that I might need, but what am I gonna need physically? And because that's a battle of endurance. Is once you out there, you out there. But uh when you think about these longer rides, I was always thinking about that bike that I wanted, that better bike, because I'm gonna tell you the bike that I have even right now, and I love this bike. It's like the it's like the Cali son of bikes. As far as I'm gonna always love this bike, bro. The bike that I got, it's like one of the last real Schwinn uh 21 speeds. I mean, it's not one of these Walmart Schwinns that was made. And God bless anybody that got a bike out of Walmart. I'm not trying to talk bad about you, but they are not the original Schwinn. You know what I'm saying? If you got a Schwinn out of a Walmart, that's not a Schwinn. That's a company that bought Schwinn and bought the name, and now they're making these heavy ass Schwinn bikes. No, no, no. A Schwinn is what I have. It's the real material, man. It's like you can pick it up with a finger. It's that, I mean, and keep in mind, it's still not a. I think I think it's a titanium. I think it's something like that, but it's still very light. But it's one of those real Schwinn bikes, not the Walmart kind. I bought it out of a bike shop long ago. But you would compare that bike to Saima, meaning that it costs more than a couple of $100 bike that an average guy might get out of just a regular store. You know what I'm saying? It's what the average person, it's what the biker would call one of those a mid-level bike, to where, hey, you done spent some money on this bike, and it's probably worth a lot more now because they don't make those bikes no more. But what I'm saying now, when I bought it, as far as just the price tag, you would say, okay, this is a mid-level bike. This isn't an expensive pro level bike, like Himaware. I'm just gonna be honest, she's a pro level doll. You don't get this doll if you're just entering the doll game and you just don't even know what the hell you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't suggest you just get the silicone doll, because you may not even like this game. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get a top level silicone doll and then realize you don't like the doll life. So that bike, that Schwinn, even though it's a great bike, it's still, to me, and not just to me, I think people in the bike community would say when it was bought, it would be considered, hey, a good mid-level bike for somebody to buy. It's more than what the normal person would buy at a normal store, but it's several hundreds away from a pro bike, but very good. I think that bike is like 19 inches, 26 and a half inch tires, something like that. But see, some of the bikes that I'm looking at now, I couldn't tell you the exact frame size, but they have like 28-inch tires, 27, 28-inch tires. I'm looking at 28-inch tires now. That's the type of bike I want. And although I have a straight bar, it's not a straight bar on my mountain bike. I'm looking to get a complete straight bar. And I'm looking to get, you know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is I'm looking to get, when I say I'm looking to get is, this is the thing that, this is a dream that I put off way back in the day. It's crazy. I put off getting this bike that I'm telling you about. Basically not, because see, I love my mountain bike. And I wouldn't want to lose the ability to have to go off road if I need to. But what I'm looking for is basically sort of almost a hybrid where it's maybe not be it's not a full-time mountain bike, but guess what? It's not a full-time road bike, meaning it can do both. And you have those type of touring bikes out there. That's really what it is, like a touring type bike. But I don't want a straight road bike. But those bikes are, hey, like I say, those bikes are, when you get up to being, you may not be a pro, but it's a pro level type bike. And that's how much I love the game. I'm like, man, I would love to get one like that. Because even if you wasn't traveling across the country, you could travel every day to work or something, you know, wherever you were going, not to work, because I want this to be my job. I'm saying, like, if I had to go anywhere far for the time being, you get a bike like that. And I could do it on my bike, but I'm saying you get a bike like that, you're really doing it in this style. So that was my dream back in the day, right? I was like, yeah. After I bought my Schwinn, I said, yeah, I'm going to upgrade at some point, and I'm going to give me a high level bike, one of these bikes that's super duper, not just because it's expensive, but I just wanted a pro level bike. Like, yeah, man, I can do whatever I really want to do with one of these bikes. But you know what happened? It's almost the same thing with the dogs. Man, you get to working, and you know what I'm saying? I'm riding a car, and you know what? I wasn't even hardly riding my bike as much. You know, you go through all type of things in life and stuff, and uh, I'm not going to even say I always had the means or whatever. But even when I was making enough money, because you can always try to save something. Even when I was having jobs and stuff, I never even remembered it, never even thought about it. And I guess because I was thinking about, once again, hey, I got a car now. Hey, I'm riding my car. Yeah, I ride my bike when I need to. But that was an actual hidden dream that I used to have. And man, it's crazy. Now that I've been riding my bike so much lately, I was like, dang, man, I want to fulfill that dream as well. I want that bike again. You know what I'm saying? And I've been seeing all type of stuff about long distance biking. But now let's get back to the trip. I'm gonna check in with the chat. But going back to the chat, so now that you know that I was one of those bikes, and hey, want to, put myself to the test as far as riding long distances and things of that nature. Going back to even this trip, I was thinking to myself, like, man, I'm gonna see if this is more than just a dream, because I've been 30, 40, maybe 30 miles or so, 30 some miles on my bike at the longest. I'm thinking almost 40 miles. I think that's probably the longest I had been in one stretch. I don't even know if I had been 40 miles in one stretch. I'm thinking about 20 something miles. Yep. I'm thinking about 26 or 7 miles or something in one stretch was the longest I had been. Something like that. So I was saying to myself, like, yeah, now you're going to see if you even cut out for something like this, because once you start doing stuff in reality, you find out if you really like it or not. So I'm gonna tell the rest of the story. Hold on. Make sure I ain't missing out on nothing. Oh, Nick says, you got to stay hydrated. He said, I know my tribal chief Roman Reigns, whom I always acknowledge, stays hydrated. I know you exactly do, Nick. And it's crazy. I don't know whether I'm a camel or what, because I already feel like I need to drink more water. But when I'm on a bike, it's like the furthest thing that I want to do. It's crazy. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But I did take some this time. But you're right, you do got to stay hydrated. Cute Nerd says same. I don't know what he meant by that. Brandon Anderson in the house. He said, good morning, Jay. Just got my running around done. That's great. Man, it's crazy he said that. and I'm finna get back to my biking story, but I've never been a running type. You know, that's the thing about I do love about just us as humans, man. Everybody has their own thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm a biker, man. Or, before biking, I used to do something else with a beat. I used to love basketball, and I still love basketball, but I just don't play it with people anymore. I don't hang out with my friends like that anymore. And I used to always ball with them. If I had a basketball with air in it, I'd still be dribbling it around. If I had a basketball goal like I used to have, I'd still probably go out there and shoot shots and stuff. Because I used to love me some b-ball. But I think I love biking in a bit of a different way, because it has something to do with travel. And man, I think running, it doesn't do this for me, but I can see it doing for somebody who loves running. Let's just say you get out and running and you're on a trail. If you love running, see, running is always a chore to me. So I can never get into enjoying it. I hate running, honestly. And it feels so high impact. I've even had runners tell me that, man, over time, it can be hell on their knees from running on concrete, blah, blah, blah. And biking is a less impact on your joints like that. And so I can ride my bike in most instances, it feels like, for days. But I don't like running as much. But if you like running, I know biking, man, it just always strikes me like especially when I'm not listening to music or something, because sometimes I do love listening to whatever I'm listening to. But even if I turn that off, man, sometimes you can just get into these spiritual zones, man, where you just, like I said, it's something freeing about bike riding. You just feel so free. You feel so unrestricted. I mean, you just feel like, man, I can't lie, it's crazy, man. It just feels like almost no rules apply when you on that bike, you know? You still need to be following street rules and all of that type of when you're on the streets. I'm not gonna tell you that. But I'm saying, no offense, when I'm on my bike, I still don't do half the stuff. Like I say, man, I don't do half the stuff that I should be doing because I'm on a damn bike. I keep riding, baby. So you'll see a lot of that on the video. But let me catch all the way up. Hold on. Yeah, so Brandon, I don't do the running, but God bless you, man. Good way to stay in shape. Man, he said I used to have a 1988 Schwinn Traveler from the Chicago plant. It was an awesome bike. I don't know what Gerardo trying to say, but I tell you what, any bike Schwinn made before the Walmart got them, you could count on it. Schwinn was, like you say, it was a great brand, a great brand. I think I heard that somebody's going to buy them and bring them back out or something. I'm not sure. And like I say, there's a lot of great brands out there now, and I don't profess to know all of them. Because I'm telling you, the bikes that I'm talking about that I like, I don't know all the name brands. I can't even think of the name brand off the top of my head. I just know the type of bike I like. Uh, but I know, like I say, I have after this trip did open my eyes. But I'm gonna get into the trip a little bit more, and I'm gonna stay a little vague. I'm not gonna stay on here all day and tell you every detail of the trip. I ain't gonna do that. But I say I started the trip off, man. I'm rolling, and off bat, I was thinking like, man, even with my mountain bike, uh, with my mountain tires, because the only thing I think I would love to change is to get some hybrid tires to where they're not quite strict. Because I found some in a store, but I couldn't afford them at the time, of course. I found some where I could get some hybrid tires, like they're almost street tires, but uh not quite street tires and not quite off-road. They're like right in between. So you can do a little bit of both. um, but I was riding my bike, like I say, about the 30, 20 some mile per hour mark. I started sort of feeling a little bit of okay, I need a second wind, not dog tired or anything. Caught my second wind pretty easy. But man, I knew cycling was dangerous. I just didn't know how dangerous. Like I told you, people in Memphis are dangerous. They don't. So a lot of people, man, like I said, they got a disregard for you if you're not in the car, and they don't got much regard for you in the damn car. But I know the cyclists have problems in all cities. But I say this: I wouldn't even be. What bothers me more than anything is when it's two lanes open, most of the time I don't even take a chance on even getting close to the cyclist, man. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull over to the middle lane. It ain't gonna take but 2 seconds, and then I pull right back over. But you have people that's trying to take the skin off of your legs when it's a clear day, nobody's even on the road. It's not even packed out there. So, man, I had a couple of instances where I was like, man, I'm thanking God that I'm protected by God, because you know what? It is dangerous. And I would say if I had to ride my bike to a job per se every day, uh, I would go still, confident with the protection of God. But I just say this, man. I used to hear about people getting killed and stuff on their bikes and stuff. It's just, I can see it. If all it takes is for some of these people not to be paying attention or whatever, or being careless or trying to prove a point. And so, man, it is dangerous. I just want to let you know. Uh, it seems simple enough, but cycling is dangerous. I found that out even more I've been riding my bike for years, but I found that out even more yesterday. And I'm not gonna go into super detail on it, but man, you'll probably see several other instances here and there. But man, it is dangerous out there. But I'm pushing and pushing and pushing, and I honestly am curious to see what the footage looks like, because when you're going across the city, it's you know in my mind, of course, since I've been here, I'm thinking like, man, I wonder what this is gonna look like, because I know when I've looked at some dummy footage that I took before this trip, I just took a little bit of footage. It didn't matter where I was; it just looked beautiful. I mean, I'm talking about just the foot. I was like, man, it looked cool just to be looking at the bike moving and traveling somewhere. So hopefully it'll be cool from that standpoint. But from another standpoint, I know as a biker, I'm thinking like it's not like I'm seeing Mona Lisas and stuff out here. So I'm gonna try to cut it up so it's where it's not just a lot of crazy, just dumb, dead footage or anything. But a lot of times you're just going through traffic in different areas of town, and um, I know, where was it at? It was when I got to about, I know when I was getting close to 50 miles, as far as 50 miles, as far as where I had traveled. That's when it started realizing. I said, wait a minute, I'm a long way away from the house, from the end and destination. Because end of destination isn't even, it wasn't in my house, but I'm saying it's in the area at least. And I was just tripping out the fact of, I was like, hey, I'm at the 50-mile mark, and this trip is gonna be longer than I thought it was. I wasn't mad about it, but the map said it should have been 70 miles. And I always try to put myself in a frame of mind of what if I'm traveling out of town. And if you're tuning in, God bless you. If you got any dog questions, me and the girls, we here to answer. Me, Hema, Ray, Callie. The other girls, they laying down. We'll answer you. We here for that. But we just talking about a little bike ride we took. We did a little fundraising campaign, trying to raise money for the show, to keep it going strong. And you can always donate. The link is in the description of this video and every video. And it'll definitely be in the video coming up that's showing this journey. But right now, it's the day after, and I'm just sort of talking about how, man, how the trip was on me and things of that nature. And then I'm gonna talk about the little rest and recovery, and I'm gonna let you guys get out of here. So yeah, I got to about the 50-mile mark, and I'm like, oh, yep. I said, yeah, I ain't nowhere near the end of this yet. And I said, man, it's cool because it's gonna put me in a mind frame if I was to take a longer trip, because The thing about it is, if you ever take a longer trip and you do manage to go outside the city limits, it ain't gonna really be no turning back. You could turn back, but what I'm saying is, once you on the journey, bro, you gone. Even if you turn back, you got a long way to go. So that's what this trip really was. That made me laugh. It was like, hey, once you got a certain amount of distance from the house, hey, bro, you no matter which way you decide to go, the only way to get home is to keep paddling. And so I did like finding myself in that situation because you're gonna find out what you made of at that point, because it's like, hey, look, bro, you ain't calling nobody, so you got to keep going. So when I was about the 50-mile mark, once again, I noticed that, man, I'm still not huffing, puffing tired. I could sort of feel my body, and it was like little spots on my legs and stuff where I started feeling like, okay, I got a little, the muscle starting to, ache here and there a little bit. Not ache, hurt, but I can start feeling them working. Uh, but everything was A-okay. I ain't gonna, like I said, I ain't gonna tell you everything that happened. I got to about the 70-mile mark, and that's when I believe that my body started to I think when I got around to the 70-mile mark or something, that's when I started sort of feeling a little sickly, just probably from the sun heat and stuff. Because I know after you ride or exercise for so long, you can start getting that little sickly feeling. I did take a couple of sips of water then, because I said, well, maybe I'm a little dehydrated. Who knows? So I took a couple of sips of water. I don't know what happened to the stream, guys. It went out. It isn't. It just went out for a sec. But yeah, the whole time I kept thinking, when I was around the 70-mile mark, I was thinking like, man, I still ain't lung tired, breathing tired, but I can start feeling my body, my knees and my legs. And I'm gonna be honest with you. That's the first time I start feeling like my body wanted to start giving up, not me. My leg. I was like, hey, because my leg, I can't lie. Uh, I think it was my right leg. It just started feeling like some type of little hitches in it here and there. And I said, man, I've never really felt it, but I said, oh man, it's like these muscles been working so long now that they starting to, I'm starting to feel different things. And that's what I wanted to feel, because I was thinking to myself, when I was thinking about these out of town trips, I kept on thinking like, I wonder what my body's, how it's going to react, how it's going to be feeling. Is it going to be aching? Am I going to be all right to keep going? Because that's another thing. You don't know, how is your body going to react to all this long-term ride? And I was like, man, my knees, not my knee, but my right leg and stuff, and even probably my other hip, it was starting to feel like, okay, these things, they wanting to stop working. But I said, it's crazy. I'm not physically tired. Kept pushing. Uh, I saw a lot of, I went through all the neighborhoods. I thought it was a great journey, though. It was a great journey. And I can't even tell y'all what I started saying towards the end, but that part of the journey got to be so unexpected. How that whole trip ended unexpected as hell. I did, and honestly, I don't even know what that footage is going to look like. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how that footage is going to turn out to be. But I say this: once I got to the last leg, which I said the last 15 miles of the trip, my body had shut down. I'm gonna be honest. That's what I was like. I was tripping off of it, because I was like, I ain't even really tired. It's my body don't want to keep going. You know what I'm saying? And what I meant by my body is it was just my muscles. You know what I'm saying? My legs and stuff. It was really this right leg over here. Because I had tore my ACL a long time ago playing basketball. But it's crazy. I never got the surgery. And my doctor said my leg is crazy. He said I'm one of the type of people that really don't need surgery. But unless I'm talking about, and that's why I haven't really played basketball since, unless I really want to play ball again. But I've done other things, dancing and all type of stuff, whatever. But biking, I don't really, unless I do a lot of high stress, man, it's never gonna really put stress on my knee like that. But I just say this, I sort of felt a few aches and pains over there, and just my whole physical body was beginning to shut down. I'm gonna be honest with you, my whole physical body, but my brain and my lungs, they were fine. And I kept on thinking about something that I heard somebody say, and what they said was how you can still be willing yourself to keep going, man. It's crazy, but you still got to listen to your body at some point, because your body gonna be like, nah, it's done. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do nothing else. And that's what I was feeling like, man. And so the last leg of it, I was like, nah, God gonna get me through it. I gotta get home, so I'm gonna make it. And my, you know what I'm saying? I literally fought against my body and I made it. And it's so crazy though, man. I told you, man, I'm in shape. I am in shape. Whenever I would get off my bike or stop paddling, I didn't feel bad. Now my leg, you know how you work out and your legs feel strong and pumped up and hard to move a little bit. Yeah, you feel like that, but I didn't feel tired like once I got off the bike. I got off because I had stopped at the store once I got off, and then when I got home, I felt a little heavy-legged, but I didn't feel as tired as I did when I was trying to do the paddling and stuff. I said, man, it's crazy how I still never got dogged out tired. But I will say this, by the time I got home, I do think, like I just told you guys, I think about 15 miles before the trip was over with, was probably the time where if I was on the road, so about 80, I say about 80 miles in would have been the time where I needed to rest if I was on the road. And I heard somebody say they needed to rest at 60 miles in. But I say this, I didn't have a full loaded bike either, guys. So I was thinking about that on my trip too. I was like, man, a lot of people that do these trips sometimes, they have a fully loaded bike, meaning they have panniers on it. They have bike cages on the front, back, uh, so they have 4 or 5 bags on their bike. So that's a whole nother amount of luggage you got to use to carry. So I was like, man, hey, it's a lot that goes into this. Now I'm getting to the bike bag type of thing, not necessarily the panniers or panniers, however you want to say it. So they're less in your way, so to speak. Because like I said, I don't plan on doing any type of heavy traveling right now. Right now, I just need to be able to get from point A to point B and just be able to carry some stuff. That's really what I'm trying to do right now. But when I got home, man, I know this. My body, I took the shower now, and my body was super tired. And all I was thinking about was this. If I was on the road, my body would need to recover for today. I would have to be on the road right now as I'm speaking to you guys, going wherever I'm going. You know what I'm saying? If I was bike touring, meaning that I was just riding, not planning on getting hotels and all this, I was literally camping, on the way to wherever I was going. So I was really examining my body like that. And what I really was thinking was, oh, okay. Because see, you learn more and more about the journey as you keep going. what I really learned was, oh, okay, I couldn't jump to do the mission that I'm talking about doing quite yet. I mean, look, you can do anything through the strength of God. Like I said, if I just jumped out there, I could survive. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying what I really think is for before I was to make a, let's just say, a longer trip, I would need to do several of these and feel really good about finishing it every time. You know what I'm saying? I would have to load my bike down even more and make this type of trip. You know what I'm saying? Like frequently. You know, I would feel good if I was to be able to make this trip. You know, frequently. You know, I wouldn't even have to do it back to back. What I would want to do is I would want to make a trip like this. Let's just say if I was just to make a trip like this 3 times a month, and every time I got home, I didn't feel like I was finna, like my legs just needed, like they were just done, because I think I woke up today. I ain't gonna say they were done, but what I'm saying, I mean, I think I could have jumped on the bike if I had to bike paddle. But what I'm saying is, I want to be able to wake up the next day and feel more recovered. That's what I meant to say. You don't want to wake up and feel like, man, you ain't really got much left in you, from a leg standpoint. So I said, you know what? Yep, I would need more training, a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? And it really wouldn't even have to be me having a lot more training. I wouldn't even probably have to make this trip even more. It would just take me constantly riding my bike some more, constantly riding it every single day. And before I keep going, I end with this. I was just saying to myself, this is one of them dreams I definitely want to hold on to. Because man, when you remember your dreams, man, you gotta try to remember to hold on to it. Because I'm gonna tell you, man, you know what really could happen? That human thing. And I'm gonna tell you what that human thing is. That human thing is, as soon as God blesses me with a car, man, it's so easy to forget about the bike. Period. Because you riding in the car now. You know what I'm saying? Cause I never was taking my bikes to the store. I was, even to the store right up the street. I would always um take my car to anywhere close. It'd be a certain season I might jump on my bike, but I wasn't riding it frequently enough. But I just, pray that after this experience, other than when I'm really taking my girls out or something, I want to stay being a bike commuter, man. I actually like it. For one, it's healthy for you. For two, it's good for the environment. We all know that. But for three, man, it's just a joy in it. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to give this joy back. You know what I'm saying? It's good to have a car, but I said, you know what? I want to make my other dream come true, which is getting a high level bike, man, to really commute on, and only have to drive my car when I have to drive it. Now, I was telling the girls, I said, man, girls, I can't lie. It's crazy. Uh, this other dream of mine, I really can't incorporate them with it. Because when I'm on my bike, I'm on my bike. Uh, but I love it a whole bunch. And so I said, you know what? Um, if I'm gonna be riding my bike to places more, those are gonna be more times I may not be with my girls during those times, but it's gonna work out. It's gonna work out because I don't want this dream to die, man. Like I say, it didn't came back alive in my heart, and I love it. If nothing else, from a stand and shape standpoint, it feels good. Uh, it's fun, and man, like I say, we all don't need the most expensive things in life, you know what I'm saying, to be happy. You don't need all this high fashion. You don't need, like I said, you don't even need the high, if you just want $8 or something, you don't gotta have the most expensive one to be happy. I'm never even selling that. When I always sell brands, I just think brands, especially in the dog game, is just a lot different than sometimes when clothes. You may be able to find a decent pair of pants that's a no-name pants, but in the dog game, man, these brands, these more identifiable brands, they are the best way to go, as opposed to the black market or just a complete no-name. And even when a new brand comes on the line that's a reputable brand, You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody knows it. Like Game Lady, they've come onto the scene as a new brand. They just came on the scene, but everybody knows that they're legit. You know what I'm saying? It's like the industry starts recognizing them. Like, yeah, that's a good one, y'all. So you'll know uh when when good things come along in whatever category you're dealing with. But when it comes to dolls, it is important as far as quality is concerned. The brands that you're shopping with, uh, and bikes, like I say, you can have a hoopty of a bike and still get to A to B. But it's just like anything else. Once you become an enthusiast and once you become to love it, guess what? You want to go from entry level, you know what I'm saying, to medium level, from medium level to the high level. And I've been at the medium level for so many years, knowing that, hey, you love this, bro. Take the next step. And I forgot it because of life. And so wake up out there. Remember your old dreams, man. They still there. You just then got caught up going to work every day. You didn't got caught up, like you know what I'm saying. You paying for something else. You don't realize you could have been saving towards whatever else you may be a passion of yours. Cause like I say, man, I've really gravitated back towards this and I'm really loving it. I'm really loving it. So uh like I say, that was pretty much it. I finished the trip. Let me see what else I want to say. Yep, I finished the trip. You'll see a lot more about it coming soon, man. But I got so much footage. It's just like I knew was going to happen. I hit record a lot, and so it's going to be a lot to go through. And I'm praying that I get through with it to be able to show it maybe by the end of next week or something. But it's a S load of footage, and I ain't gonna lie. I did notice I sort of been hiccuping a little bit since I got back from that trip. So I guess I'm finna grow, man. I'm probably gonna be 6'1" in a little while from taking that little biking trip. But it did confirm that, man, I can't lie. Just picking your dolls up, if you're watching yourself, excuse me, just picking your dolls up can be a nice little workout, man. Every excuse me, I got the hiccups now, but every time you pick them up, make sure you tighten your core up. It's a nice little workout. But if you're still eating poorly and not taking care of yourself, you're not going to see the results. But if you can sort of tidy up on what you're eating and stuff like that, you'll start seeing the results. But I'm telling you, if you doing anything active, like I forgot who that was who just said they like to run. Oh, I think it was Brandon Anderson. If you like to run or do anything active, it is good. You know, that is good, man. It's just keeping you in shape, man, keeping you focused, keeping you energized. And excuse me, if you're with a doll, it's only gonna improve things because you're doing a little work, excuse me, a little workout, then you're coming home working out with them. And it looks like I'm gonna have to get out of here just from doing the hiccups, man. I can't stop hiccuping now. But that was my little story. I made it home. Excuse me, I made it home, and that's why the show was, in my opinion, delayed to this morning. But we always say the excuse me, the delays are right on time. Oh, Meg said, I used to ride my bike as a kid, and years later, I still feel the benefits. He said, what's good? Just got here. Hey, oh, Mix, that's the whole thing, man. You will feel the effects from doing something like this from years later, whether it was, whatever activity you might be in. Your body still not only has that muscle memory, but it still reaps the benefits from getting in shape for that point in history. For that point in history, um, you'll find if you get back on the bike, man, you'll catch right back into the swing of things. Stormtrooper, He says, "Do you have lights?" You gonna find out on the thing, but I say this, I go ahead and ruin that for you. But for that trip, I did not, and it's crazy. Um, I actually, once again, man, even with the small budget, right now, because with God, I got a gigantic budget, baby. I don't call small into my life, but I'm just saying for what I had to spend recently. It's crazy how I just recently thought about getting some lights because I used to have lights a long time ago. Excuse me all the hiccuping, but I recently thought about getting them, but it wasn't in time for this particular video because I wasn't even thinking about um, needing lights at the time. But now I know I need to just have lights on at all times. Excuse me, guys. Soul King in the house. What up, man? He said, "When are you going to let Cali ride on the handlebars?" Man, if these dogs was a lot lighter, or maybe if I ever get that WM Light companion dog, I might consider that. Excuse me. But but they haven't even come out with that yet. But man, I said it probably won't be on my bike, but one day I figure out some type of contraption to have the dogs ride with me in some type of way. I still want that Segway where I can have a Segway with my dog with me. Excuse me, guys. Um, the Soul King said it's okay if you like running, but that's the least efficient workout you can do. You should try resistance training. Like, excuse me, like I say, running, man. I heard it's very hard on your body, very hard, very, very hard on your body. So, um, that excuse me, that's not why I don't do it. I don't do it because I just don't like running like that. But I heard it's very hard on your knees, and I watched Skip Bayless on TV, and he said before how he's had 3 or 4 surgeries on his knee because of he loves to run. And I'm like, man, that's messed up. He's had meniscus surgeries. He said because running is so hard. He says from running on concrete in his neighborhood, it's been very hard on his knees. And I was like, man, I know everybody has different genetics, so they may not have knee problems like that, but man, that's messed up for that sport to be that rough on you. And man, I'm having hiccup fits right now. I don't want to have to leave because of that. There, but I did have a couple of other things wrote down here. Let me see. Oh, I got a couple of notes here that I just mentioned before I get out of here. I see Will Smith coming out with another movie called Emancipation, right? And he was hid away for a while, either by his, mainly by his own doing, and even some people just didn't want to mess with him for a second. But I seen a new movie coming out, and I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not with all this cancel culture stuff and all this stuff. How they try to cancel people and all this. I'm just not really with it. But I tell you this, I have no desire to see Will. I mean, I've never even been against him, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. That incident was so disgraceful for me. I'm not saying he should never be forgiven by people, and if you want to see the movie, go right ahead. Uh, Truth be told, I probably wouldn't have saw that type of Will Smith movie anyway, because whenever he does any type of try to do any type of real acting, I hate it. Uh, I'm gonna be honest, and God bless him because he's doing his dream, and I don't never want to tear people down when they're doing their dream, but I do not like his acting when he try to get too serious. When he's just being Will, he's okay. So I probably wouldn't have saw it anyway. But me personally, I don't even just. You got to get back to doing what you love. That's the only way you can get people to get back into the swing of things. Don't get me wrong, but I know for me, I'm not even in it. I don't even want to see Will. I don't want to even see you, bro, right now, man, because it just left a bad taste in my mouth with all that mess that happened. It's just like, and once again, as the artist, And I'm a creator myself. I'm doing my thing. So as the creator or artist, you can't let people like me get in your way, because I'm not ready to see you, because you got to get your career back started. So maybe one day we'll forget about it to a certain degree. But I'm just saying how I feel today. It's just like, bro, I don't even want to see you right now. I don't know how good the movie is or isn't, but people are saying, "Oh, he gonna win an Oscar for this." Like I said, I haven't seen the movie where he played Serena and Venus's dad. I haven't even seen that. But like I told you, he does terrible when he tries to be serious, in my opinion. But that's out. Excuse me, guys. I don't know how bad it is you having to suffer through me in this hiccuping. And that's what Brandon said. He said seeing Will get smacked in the mouth. I mean, Will smack Chris just left a bad taste in my mouth too, especially seeing people meme it out. Like I say, I don't like to get in this color barrier, black, white, red, yellow, all that type of stuff. But I just say this. For men of color, it's just a terrible look, bro. Come on, man. I mean, I just hated it. And I just say for men, and not even for men. I don't even like to for any human in general, that just was unacceptable, man. Come on, man. Not just at the place, but come on. You got to control yourself, man. This is a comedian here. If you don't like the joke, man, look, if you got to do anything, walk out the room. But that level of violence was just way unnecessary. And it just looks so bad. And like I say, it's a fine line because, man, me, I don't want to vilify anybody forever. I'm not with the cancel culture thing. Even if I don't want to see them again, I don't want them not able to work. I might choose to never. I might be like, you know what? I'm just done with Will. But that don't mean I don't want him to work. Let somebody else see him who does want to see him. But I just say for me personally right now, it's like I don't even want to see you yet, bro. I'm frustrated. I don't. That left a bad taste in my mouth. So from my standpoint, I don't want to see it. I understand why he's going back to work. Excuse me. But I just can't take it. I guess I'm getting taller, man, because I am hiccuping. So I don't want to see emancipation. You may want to see it. Oh, in lighter news, I don't really even watch his channel, but I did subscribe to it. Uh, I am glad that Nick Rakita is back, and I'm not saying I don't watch it. Like I don't want to watch his stuff. I'm just saying I wasn't even really aware of him much. I just used to hear his name here and there. Now I'm not in I'm not into the law type of stuff, but I'm not saying I won't ever check him out. I've seen him on live streams before, and he's a cool guy. I felt bad for him recently when supposedly his channel got stopped for whatever reason. And YouTube, hey, my boss, y'all know I love you, so I'm not even getting into the politics or anything. I don't know what happened. Hell, I'm worried about my own backyard and staying on my own race. But I will say, God bless Nick. I'm glad he's back because as I was mentioning earlier, I'm trying to do YouTube and whatever I do going forward, it's going to be with the dollars and it's going to be a bracket coming from this standpoint. It's not like I'm a lawyer like Nick Rakita and then I'm just jumping over here doing YouTube or even my old job. I'm not doing. This is what I'm doing. But for anybody else that this may not be their first love, or they may be doing something else and they may not be looking to do this full time or whatever, that doesn't mean you don't love doing this. He may, and I believe that, you got to love it to some degree. And this guy, I'm just glad that he's reinstated. It does make me feel good that he is reinstated, and that something like that doesn't have to be final. I just say that. So God bless him. And Anderson said he could have handled it better. He was talking about Will Smith with that slap. He definitely could have handled it better. Another thing I want to say is, and I'm getting that, excuse me, I'm going to get out of here to stop hiccuping 24/7 is I want to talk a little bit about Draymond punching his teammate recently. And for people who don't know, Draymond Green punched his teammate Draymond Green from the Golden State Warriors. And it's just a little bit of tidbit of news. I said, especially if I wasn't hiccuping, I'd probably try to hang around a little longer, but this seemed like it's just going to continue, so it must be time for me to just sort of rest my body. But before I go, I just say, man, I've heard of people punching their teammates before. Even Jordan punched Steve Kerr back in the day. So it's not like this type of thing hasn't happened before. But from what I understand about the Jordan punch, that was motivated by him trying to get Steve Kerr to perform better. You know, it was something in practice where, no, I think Steve Kerr was doing something, being rough on a play he wasn't supposed to or something. Jordan had told him to cut it out or something like that, and he ended up laying into him. I don't know. It was something basketball-wise. But with this, just from the reports, I read that Jordan Poole was basically had been telling everybody who would listen, hey, man, I'm going to get a new contract. And Draymond Green got upset about it, supposedly. End up calling him the B word. Well, my only thing I'm going to say about it is I agree with some people where, hey, man, when things happen in practice, you hate to see any of that stuff getting out on video and stuff. It's like, man, it's private practice. This shouldn't be out here like this. But I say this. Context does matter. I don't know how they're going to heal. I presume since they're both under contract, they're going to make it work. But it'll be some bad blood there with most people. I don't want to say with me because I'm trying to change as a person, every day. I don't want to be the person that's holding on to grudges and trying to be negative and all this stuff, looking back at yesterday. But I'm just also being a human being as well. So I'm examining it from that standpoint. You can tell that, I've gotten into an argument with a lot of my teammates. I'm talking about just from neighborhood ball and team sports. You get a lot of argument with a lot of your teammates. And 99.9% of those don't really come down to fist fights, unless you really don't like that person. But in the world of professional sports, that's when it really shouldn't come down to that type of stuff, fisticuffs. And I just say from looking at the video, which we shouldn't have had access to, but from looking at it, Draymond Green and him was arguing, and when Draymond approached him, Jordan Poole pushed Draymond. Draymond, after that, hit him. Now, let me explain something. Now, a lot of times they say don't push when you should punch. Meaning that, hey, if you think you're finna be in a fight, you might not want to be pushing because the other dude might be punching, just like what happened. But here's the deal. You normally don't punch when you think that it shouldn't be a punch. Meaning that, yeah, we arguing, we doing this, but man, you are my teammate. I ain't looking to punch you under this particular circumstance. So to me, it was like one of those things when I looked at the tape. It's like, I don't even think that Jordan wouldn't have punched him or nothing. It was just like, hey, bro, we ain't finna punch each other because we are teammates. We might push each other and tussle, but we ain't really finna punch right here. I can see if we get to tussling for a while, then the punch may get thrown. So when I saw Jordan actually get hit, to me, I don't think he was, it was one of those punches where he wasn't expecting Draymond to even throw a punch under these circumstances. Or I don't even know if he would have got hit, honestly. He might not even stood there to push Draymond because he might have done something different had he known fisticuffs was going to come into play. So I do think it was a bit of a cheap shot. But without getting too deep in the teammate on teammate thing, because like it happens a lot, I just say, man, if you punch this guy because he's been saying, hey, I'm finna come into a big contract, that's just a bad reason to punch somebody. Now, I'm not trying to judge him. I don't know what really happened, but I just say that's a bad circumstance to want to get into a fight over. And that is the type of thing that can have a lingering effect on somebody who's not in the mind frame of not looking to the past. You know, you got some people that make a habit of holding on to the past. And I say this, you got to let go of past hurts and things of that nature. Excuse me. But when it comes to people who've done you wrong, I'm talking about like literally done you wrong, you can forgive that person and not deal with them in that respect anymore. You know what I'm saying? You can say, hey man, I forgive you, but hey, I loaned you $10. You never paid it back to me. You, you know, when I asked you for it, you never gave it. Hey, guess what? I got tired of asking. I never got the $10. You know, over time, I still see you. Hey, if I see you, I ain't saying we can't ever speak. You know, hey, we could be cool, you know, to a certain degree from a distance, you know, but I'm not finna be buddy because I know you're not trustworthy and I'm never gonna loan you the money. Like you said, you got to forgive a person, but when it comes to them treating you badly or something, you know, that doesn't mean you have to engage in all the things you used to engage with because you forgive somebody. In Jordan Poole's case, I might forgive you. You know, he may forgive him, but he may not ever want to deal with him in certain aspects again. And honestly, those are the type of things that can affect chemistry because he might be like, man, if you punch me when I knew we were going to fight, when I knew that I was going to try to punch you and then you punch me too and blah blah blah, it's different. Or if it had worked up to the point, because you can't always just say, hey, you punched me first, so I'm mad at you. Now, if y'all building up and y'all tussling and you see that y'all finna fight, bro, it's on you to whoever punches first. But under that particular umbrella of being teammates and assuming the best, for you to haul off and punch after somebody done pushed, I just think that was a bit much. So uh, I don't know if that relationship is going to quite be the same under those circumstances. Now, other than that, I don't really know what's happening tonight. I haven't checked. I don't know what other fights are happening. UFC wise, but I do know one thing. I love you guys. I appreciate you all for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and gear up to get my rest and recovery. And as you can see, I cannot stop Well, I don't want to speak negative. I'm going to stop hiccuping, but right now it's been bothering me. See how you got to always frame your words the right way. You got to catch yourself, even in the small things. So I don't want to say I can't because then I'd be hiccuping forever. But now I can and I will stop hiccuping. But for the time being, right now, in this moment, I'm hiccuping a little bit too frequently. So with all that said, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Soul King says, have I seen Berserk? No, I told you I looked at a little Berserk and I wasn't feeling it. I actually wasn't feeling it. I think that's an anime you're talking about. Because like I say, the Berserk anime, if that's what you're talking about, I wasn't really, I haven't seen it in a while, you know, just like Titan. I don't quite remember it. I just remember I didn't gravitate to it. And some of these other cartoons like the Blue Exorcist, I remember I didn't gravitate to it. I didn't gravitate to some other one, Bleach. So it's several of these that when I turn them on, I didn't gravitate to them, but I may have to give them another chance. Mister said, morning, guys. What up, Mister? Good to see you brother. And actually, I just been talking about my rest and recovery, man. You know, the little biking trip I went on, and as far as the rest and recovery, like I say, as you can probably hear in my voice, I don't really feel bad, but my body actually is still. It's crazy. It's hard to say that it's sore, but it more has an ache, sort of a bit of an ache to it. Like, hey, it just needs a little bit more rest. a little bit more sleep. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I wanted to check in with you guys, tell you about the trip. Man, if you talking about being a cyclist, be safe as hell, man, because these people, you could be as safe as you want to be, but you really just gotta pray to God for His protection and keep your head on a swivel, man, because these drivers, man, they can really get dangerous out here. But other than that, if you caught the stream late, go back and check it out, man. You'll hear the sort of story of, excuse me, the trip that I took. But as you can hear, I'm just been hiccuping for the last 10, 15 minutes. I cannot. I haven't been able to stop yet, but I'm going to have to end this stream. Give me some rest. God bless everything you're hoping for, wishing for, health, finances, and relationships. We believe you have it. It's been a fun stream talking about bikes and the trip and dreams and safety and all type of stuff. And towards the end, talked about a little current events. And another thing I forgot to mention. I'm not gonna go too deep in it, but I saw this little story, man, of this guy. This guy goes to jail in he escapes prison in 1977. And all I know is they found him in 2015, but he got a family, he's doing good. I guess he's, living a law-abiding life. But they take him back to jail. And all I'm gonna say is this. If this dude did, I didn't read the story, so I don't know, but I'm just speaking in general. If somebody's not committing a violent crime, man, and they escaped and they've been gone that long, will you please leave these people alone? Those are the people where I'm just like, you know what? Leave these folks alone, man. They done got away. They living life now, man. I always say now, if somebody has murdered somebody or something like that, then those are the things where I can see you not letting that go, because somebody's family member has had to deal with a loss, and you don't want people being able to just get rid of murder. Get away with murder or something like that, or get away with some type of heinous crime. But I was even thinking, like, what if somebody held me up? I wouldn't like somebody holding me up at gunpoint. But if you don't catch them immediately, if they're living 20 years later, living a nice, good life, not bothering anybody, and not doing anything in the criminal world, they've grown. Don't go trying to rearrest these folks for something they did 30 years ago. Come on now. So I just saw the clip of that, and I was like, I don't know what this guy did, but if he didn't do a violent crime, that's just, come on. Forget these people and let's keep rolling. So with all that said, man, I'm gonna check out. I know I didn't we did a solid 2 hours pretty much. So it's been fun talking to you guys. But just to get out of here, get this rest, recovery, get reset Sunday all ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and exit stage left. It's been me, J. Dog King Hefner, a beautiful Himawari, the beautiful Cali. Got a couple of girls in the background, Austin and Sunati. My girl Saima, is still in the back chilling. But as of right now, we finna get the hell out of here. Appreciate you guys for stopping by, and thank you for all the great support. And once again, man, if you ever want to support this Biking for Companion Dogs campaign, is going to be in all the descriptions of all of my videos going forward until we reach that $10,000 goal. Excuse me once again. We're unofficially at about $340. So with all that said, I'm going to get my hiccuping self out of here. It's been great though, guys, man. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. But as of right now, we got to exit stage left. Go get some rest, man. Have a good weekend, y'all. Love you. We out of here.